Hi everyone, welcome to Wednesday PGA HOPE Golf Tips. I'm Bob Epperly and I'm pleased to have you here and always delighted to have all the veterans available for the golf program. Today, I get asked all the time, how do I have a consistent swing? All I want to be is consistent. Well, we do know that whatever you do in golf, if you do it every single time, it is consistent. For example, if you are my target and I've set up to hit a ball in your direction, and the arc of my swing goes like that every time, it's not likely I'm ever going to hit a ball toward you. So the arc of the swing needs to swing in your direction. So to help construct and build a swing that can have consistency with the arc, the most perfect arc I can think of is a pendulum. A pendulum bottoms out and has the same arc every single time. And the question is, why does that happen? The answer is that the fulcrum, or the top of a pendulum, never moves. So the bottom is going to be directly underneath where the fulcrum is. When we attach our hands and arms to the club, if we could imagine that this is a triangle, my lead arm, my chest and shoulders and right arm is a triangle, and the fulcrum of my swing is my head that's held up by the spine, and if I can stay body centered on the backswing, it's more likely I will be able to get back to that same impact position. However, if on the backswing I move laterally, either away from the ball, either way, or lift the club so that my spine moves out of place, getting back to that same bottoming spot is very, very difficult. So here's some ways you can gauge if you're staying body centered or not. If you're indoors and you're looking at a mirror, you can put your hands up on the shoulder, look at the mirror, and watch as you make the rotation of the arms, or the shoulders in this case, and the torso. Does the head and spine remain in place? If it does, the likelihood of getting back to the same spot you started is greater than if you move laterally off. You can watch that in the mirror both ways. Put your hands together as you're holding a club, and again, watch to see if you're staying body centered. On the golf course, if you put your back to the sun, you will see your shadow. And in so doing, you can lay a club down, or in this case, an aiming stake. Put the aiming stake where your spine would represent your spine. And as you make the backswing, does the aiming stake get covered by the shadow, or do I make a movement and not covered? If we're covered the shadow, the odds of getting back to the same position impact or consistency is greater. Lastly, the path of the swing. If the path of the swing from a center position is always the same, the likelihood of hitting same shots is greater. So that means in this case, we are going to swing the club on the proper path. That would be on the backswing. The hands and the arms and body rotate so the hands go to the top of the right shoulder or ear, back to impact, left shoulder and ear to ear. The very last piece of this is that to get the ball airborne, my thumb is the ground, ball is resting on the ground. The bottom of the club needs to hit the bottom of the ball. So we're going to call that brushing the grass. If you make contact with the ball on top of the ball, it cannot get airborne. So let's go over this slowly and comfortably. Body centered. Hands toward the top of the right shoulder. Brush the grass. Hands to the top of the left shoulder. Shoulder, ground, shoulder. Shoulder, ground, shoulder. So that is an attempt to build a consistent arc in the golf swing. If we have a consistent arc, making contact with the same spot every time, putting the ball in that spot, we'll start having consistency on a golf course. Thanks so much for being here. Next time we'll talk about squaring the club.